We all know how tough of a defender Marcus Smart is. The effort, the aggression, the mindset to never back down, and the crazy part is how skilled he is defensively too. His movement is crisp. He's very calculated. He knows how to recover from tough situations. He's able to use any footwork to keep his man from scoring. The list goes on, and we're going to break it all down. So one thing you'll notice is that he's pretty frequently guarding bigger players, primarily because he's comfortable switching onto them. Now of course he's not a smaller guard at all, but it's still interesting to see how he works around this. So a big key here is that he works on his position early. Well before the pass is even on the way, he's finding an angle where he can sneak in and pick it off comfortably, not get sealed right behind that offensive player. The timing here is huge too. He goes right at the perfect time where it's not too early for the passer or his man to make an adjustment, but he also meets the ball right as it's about to get there. I'm not sure if he played football as a kid, but it's a similar quality to what you'll see with good DBs and receivers too. And this goes for general steals too. He's already a few steps ahead and has developed the ability to really time that up perfectly to mitigate the risk. Plus his acceleration from a standstill has to be A1 for him to not telegraph it and be standing completely still and then in a split second break into that steal attempt. But he also doesn't take unnecessary risks. If he knows it's going to be tough to pick it off, chances are he'll just make it work in a post-up situation. So once they do catch the ball, he knows that most bigs or taller players are a little bit less secure in how they show the ball. So they'll bring it right in front of him and he's looking for that to take it. Number 2, let's talk angles. Many times his defenders will sprint to where that offensive player is, not to where they're going. Whether it's underestimating speed or wanting to cut them off further out, it puts us in a tough situation. Imagine if he tried to cut him off here. Instead, he's willing to let him get deeper into the paint because he knows he'll be able to meet him there and in front to steal the ball. Not on his hip and very vulnerable. Even when he does get beat, he knows that he doesn't have to stay right by the offensive player. He's willing to leave some space to take that optimal angle. Key number 3 is not just hustle, but smart hustle. I think it's important to realize that sometimes taking stupid risk for the sake of hustle can put you and the team in a bad position. But Smart doesn't sell himself out of plays. It's all calculated risk where he knows that it's a good chance it'll pay off. It also helps that he's extremely accurate on block and steal attempts. His ability to find that ball without fouling makes it much more possible for him to go for these without picking up either a foul or putting himself in a bad spot. And then lastly, his ability to recover from tough situations makes him a bit more confident in taking risks. If you can't recover from that offensive player slightly beating you, then you probably shouldn't be reaching, pressuring, or going for many risky hustle plays. Number 4 is mastering closeouts and contests. His ability to quickly pop off the ground, whether from a static position or moving backwards, is huge for contesting shots. Like here, he's starting that contest at damn near the same time LeBron first moved up into his shot. This not only comes from a ton of experience to know when a shooter is going up into their motion, but also developing the physical quality of quickly popping off the ground in any situation. For such a strong athlete too, this is impressive. But at the same time, he doesn't jump too early and leave himself vulnerable to pump fakes. He times it just right, where he's leaving the ground right after the shooter. This way he's always grounded if they pump, but he's still right there for the shot. 5 is footwork adaptability. It sounds complicated, but it's not. This just means he's able to use any footwork to get the job done. Defense isn't just defensive slide, it's crossing that foot over, it's sprinting. It's a weird mix up of steps just to stay in front, and constantly switching through all of these from second to second. Notice his footwork in all of these, it's never perfectly clean cut. And he's not only comfortable with this, but he excels in it. Next is his hand placement. Much of the time this involves keeping at least one arm fully extended and the other one active or close to that offensive player, which does 2 things. Number 1, it increases his reach and frame, so he's able to take up more space and be active with his hands while moving. And 2, the ref sees this and as a result isn't very likely to call a foul even with some contact. Because that one arm is being shown, even if he gives a little contact with the other arm to the ball handle of his body, it probably won't get called much. As they say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and his active hands in different situations allow him to do this. And then lastly is his ability to take charges and cause turnovers through it. Having the anticipation to get to that spot before the offensive player is first and foremost. The only way you're taking a legal charge is if you're there before them, so you've got to be one step ahead, especially if you're on the ball. Then his positioning off the ball is also amazing. He sees it a mile away in help defense, and as a result gets to that spot once again even before that driving player, which allows him to be stationary by the time the ball handler is there. He also times it up so that he's moving backwards many times, which makes it easier for him to fall backwards with a lighter hit. So are some of these flops? Yeah, maybe a bit, but are they also turnovers? Yes, for sure. So I don't see the problem. Selling your charges is a skill, and it's one that will help you get on any team. Don't talk shit about it, get good at it yourself. And trust me, I realize that he doesn't think about much of this either. It's instinctual, built by years of work. So if you want to get to this level with the skill, the strength, the agility, and more of those physical qualities, check out the Lockdown Defender program. It's a 3-month program that will take your defense to a completely new level. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and took something from it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at ByAnyMeansBasketball for a lot more like this.